All right. Today, you might be wondering what the title of this video is all about. And what it's about is that today, when I was doing some work, I was editing the most recently recorded episode of the Wordy Pair podcast. We're talking about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the movie. And apparently at the start of the movie, they have like this like very placid, like aerial shot of like the city of like the city of the dead or something like that. And I kind of was like, oh, is it kind of like a Sam Raimi shot where they're all twirling around and crazy? He's like, no, and Justin's like, no, it's kind of just like a boring overhead shot. And the thing that I thought of, because this show was still on TV in syndication when I was a kid, is like the opening theme, not theme, but the opening like movie, the intro movie to the show MASH, the old. Like, it started out as like a comedy with a little bit of drama and ended up as a drama with a little bit of comedy. But like it had this really boring song to its opening that maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't. It's like na 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 na, and it's like really slow and really boring, and it's like it makes you think like oh, this show is going to be terrible and boring, especially me as a kid. So I'm going to switch channels. So I had no idea what the show was about, other than about a military thing and there's a helicopter, right? But like, in looking up this video, I fell down this rabbit hole with this song because I looked for the TV show theme, and I found out that the TV show theme is an instrumental version, or like an instrumental redo of the theme from the movie MASH, which was very different. It was based on a novel and the characters in the TV show were based on the characters in the novel, but the movie was based a little bit more closely on the novel. But I found out that the title of the song is "Suicide is Painless." Now, you might think about the song, a song named "Suicide is Painless," and think 1970, and your brain might be screaming at you like trust fund hippie, trust fund hippie. That's what I was thinking too, right? And it turns out you're about 25% right. Because it turns out that, number one, the when the song was written for the movie in 1970, Robert Altman was like, I want this this song is going to play over a very absurd, stupid part of the movie. The characters are doing something stupid, and so I want this song to have the stupidest lyrics ever. And in my 45-year-old brain, says Robert Altman, cannot think of something stupid enough, so I'm going to give this to my 15-year-old kid because he's stupid. And I can't tell for sure whether Michael Altman was 14 or 15 when he wrote the lyrics to the song, but apparently they banged them out in like 5 minutes. And like the lyrics include like, "Suicide is painless, it brings on many changes, and I can take or leave it if I please." There's lines about like the sword of time, and like it's really dumb. But when you look at like the YouTube video of the actual song, there's a bunch of people like, oh, it's so deep and it's so it's so meaningful, and it's like, and Robert Altman's like, I needed the stupidest lyrics I could possibly find, so I asked a child to do it for me. And so like there's this whole like disconnect of like the people that are really nostalgic about this song, because it was a popular movie and a popular show and it dealt with real issues and stuff. And so like a lot of people had this song in their head as like something that was really important to them when they were younger. But like if you actually look at like the interviews of like Altman, he's like, yeah, I had my kid make the lyrics because I couldn't think of anything dumb enough for this, because it was going to go over this stupid scene of this guy pretending like planning to commit suicide for a stupid reason, blah 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 blah. And it made me think, man, we certainly like that hilarious little rabbit hole led me to think like, man, we seriously are babying kids today. Like, imagine you were in high school, you're 14, 15, kind of, freshman year, kind of just barely getting into high school, kind of age. And like, you're talking to your friend, and he's like, and you're like, oh, what did you do last night? After you finished your homework. And he's like, oh, my dad's working on this movie. And he couldn't think of lyrics to the song. So I helped him out. And you're like, oh, cool. What's the name of the song? He's like, oh, "Suicide is Painless." And it's like, first off, in these times, the idea of giving a kid the task of writing lyrics to a song called "Suicide Is Painless" is like, you're going to counseling, right? I imagine in my head like the kid like sweeping a hallway, like he's got like cleaning duty or something after school, and he is humming the lyrics and he's like singing the lyrics to the song, trying to figure out. Bam, counseling and medicated, right? That's what would happen today. Instead, we have this guy who's like, I need stupid lyrics. Mikey, can you get those for me? And Mikey's like, yeah, we can bang out some stupid lyrics. And here's the great part. Remember how I said you were like 25% right if you said like trust fund hippie? Well, the part where you're wrong is that, Mike Altman was too young to be a hippie in 1970, right? He was 14 or 15 when he wrote the lyrics to the song, and he was the hippie era was over. I don't know about Robert Altman. Maybe Robert Altman was super hippie like, but it doesn't sound like he was hippie like when he was working on the song. He's like, I need something stupid for a stupid scene where stupid characters are doing stupid things, and so, like, the hippie is just completely wrong. And then trust fund, well, that's the part where you're half wrong as well, because I'm sure, because at this point, Robert Altman was not a super rich guy. He became a very well-known, filmmaker later on. And so I'm sure that, Michael Altman probably inherited something from Robert Altman. But here's the even better part, is that Mike Altman, the kid, got a like bog standard, like, songwriting contract for this song, and because it went on to the show and to be super popular, he actually made over $1 million from it in like $1980. And so, like, yes, it was a trust fund, but it was a trust fund from something that he did himself and not something that he like inherited. So I don't know. I just thought this was hilarious because, like, first off, there's like at least 2 or 3 different reasons why a kid would never be allowed to like work on this kind of thing. Today it's like, well, first off, you can't have a kid working for you, at home. That's all kinds of illegal, right? Number 2, you can't have him working on a song called "Suicide Is Painless," right? That's not the right message we want kids to have, And like number 3, like, well, we can't have him, having thinking up lyrics to this song, in this kind of like dark thing. I mean, maybe if he does it on his spare time and we don't know about it, but if we knew about it, we put him on like some kind of like mental health watch. And then, the fact that the kid becomes a freaking millionaire so he can spend the rest of his life just, kind of occasionally writing something or working with a filmmaker on something. But mostly he apparently just likes to paint. So trust fund is half true, but it's like a trust fund, but it's just from his own actual work. And then hippie is just not true because he's too young and it's too late for him to be a hippie. But I don't know, just the absurdity of that situation kind of like got me like laughing, and like I figured that like I couldn't think of a good thing to do for this video, and like somehow this seemed like manna from heaven. Where I was like, oh, this horrible slow, because it's like this really slow, easy listening kind of song. And so like you don't think that the show that's going to be attached to this song is going to be a comedy of all things. You think it's going to be some kind of like really dull, like tragic, military drama or something like that. And that's apparently not what MASH was. I've never actually watched like I think a full episode of it. Because I always was like, this theme song, I have to go away. I have to go find, Star Trek or something. and apparently the history behind this song is just absurd. So I don't know. I figured like "Old Man Yells at Huey" is like a good title for this video, because it was just like, what is going on here? None of this makes any sense. But I gotta say the Beetlejuice episode of the Wordy Pair is going to be out in a couple of weeks. It's stupid funny. There was one part of it where like Justin said something and then I made a joke that went on with it, and we both laughed for probably like 45 seconds about it because it was just so stupid. But yeah, that's what I've got for you for today. Kind of just a funny thing for Thursday. And it's funny because man, in the 80s, if you had known that the song's title was "Suicide Is Painless," like that probably wouldn't have got on the air either, right? Like the FCC was crazy back then about like bad messages getting on broadcast television for kids to see. That's another aspect of it that's just like crazy. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Just kind of a light video. Hopefully, something that you enjoyed watching me fall down a rabbit hole and laugh all the way down. Um, yeah, that's all I've got. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow with, again, I'm not sure what, but maybe maybe I'll like read one of my flash fiction stories or something. I don't know. Anyway, see you later.